Today we're going to, and I've done I think 2 tutorials on this already, but I want to do one special just to have it inside this series, and that is make the mouse cursor visible in the game. And in this case, it's going to be just a default mouse cursor, kind of like the one we're looking at right now, because you notice when you start the game by pressing P, it disappears. To make that visible, 2 lines of code, very simple. Let's go down here. We'll open up our text editor. We'll create a new, we'll call it mouse cursor. I'll also connect or turn on all these formatting options. And we're going to say import. In this case, we're not using the Blender game engine module. We're going to be using one called rasterizer. At least that's how I think you say it. Oops. Have to be rasterizer. And all we have to do at this point is use that module to show the mouse. So rasterizer dot show mouse, and then we say whether we want it to be true or false. If we want to show the mouse, we say true. I think you could probably put a 1 in there as well. And if we press P now, we have to actually link the script to something. I always forget to do that. Okay, split, and we'll make this our logic editor again. And we can link this to any object in the scene. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do the cube here, but in an actual game, you probably want to link it to the camera. In fact, that's what we'll do now. Just because the camera will always exist, where if you link it to an object and that object gets destroyed or you don't use it on a level, all of a sudden your cursor doesn't show up. So I'll just link it to the camera. We're going to say always. We don't need to repeat it because once it's on, it's on. And what we'll do is we'll say Python. We'll choose the script we created. We'll connect these, and now when we start the game, hey, you can see our cursor. Isn't that great? Okay. So now, this is kind of a short video, like I said before. So let's just let's change this up a bit. I'm going to do a keyboard, and I'm going to press M. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say end, and I'm going to add a property to this. I'll call it mouse, and we'll make this an integer. I'll make it 1, and then we'll add over here properties, and we'll say assign mouse, and here we'll say 1. Actually, let's make that +1. So what happens now is when I press M on the keyboard, it's going to add 1 to that value. And what we're going to do here, let's move this up. There we go. What I'm going to do, let's make this bigger, easier for you to see. Now I'm going to say property when mouse equals 1, I'll then make the mouse visible. And then we're going to add another thing. It says property if mouse equals 0, we're going to run another script. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come back down here, and we're going to add in, we're going to create a new block here. And once again, we'll just type the same thing, import rasterizer. And then we're going to say rasterizer dot show mouse, capital M. Remember, this is case sensitive, and we'll set this to false with a capital F. Okay. So basically this will, when this script is run, the mouse will become invisible. So what we'll do is we'll add another script here. We'll connect it to our, I forgot to rename it, but we'll just call it text. Doesn't really matter at this point. So whenever the value of property equals 0, the mouse will be invisible. Whenever the property of mouse equals 1, the property will be, the mouse will be invisible. I'm using integers here. I think there's actually a better way to do a true and false of some sort, but this is the way I normally do it. So that's great, except for we need to have it loop back to 0 when we reach 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say property when mouse equals 2, then we're going to say property mouse equals 0. Now, I think I've done everything correct. So now, if we run the game, the mouse is invisible. I press M, the mouse becomes visible. I press M again. Thought should have gone invisible at that point. Let's see what's going on here. Let's enable our information property here. Sure, switch this to Blender Game Engine. And we're going to say show debug properties. So now I press P, M, still at 1. How about we change this to say mouse plus 1. M. There we go. Although the cursor is not disappearing. So when it equals 1, it runs that. When it equals... Let's bring up our console here to see what errors we're getting. So I must have spelled rasterize wrong. I did in one of the scripts here, right here. That's why having the console open helps. So now I can press P, cursor is invisible, M. Oh. It kind of flickers there for a second. I should have tried this before I started this tutorial. Let's try to figure out what we did wrong here, though. Runs that script. It runs that script. Maybe we should turn on pulse mode here. I'm just guessing at this point. M, cursor visible, cursor invisible. There we go. So that's how we do it. I'll save this blend file. I will upload it online. Check out the links in the description. I'll also upload this little 2-line script so you know how to make the cursor visible. But I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please visit filmsbykris.com, that's Chris with a K, and check out the links in the description. Have a great day. Yeah, filmsbykris.com/Amazon. I've been there before. It's a good site. You can search Amazon for stuff that I like, that I'm going to be buying, but I'm allowing filmsbykris.com to help me find those products so that they can get a commission. It also has products that Christopher from filmsbykris.com recommends. I mean, it's a win-win situation. I'm going to be buying stuff anyway. Might as well buy it at a place that helps support a site I like. Have a great day.